Welcome to the Permission Slip podcast, where I, empowerment coach, mindset expert, and holistic nutritionist Carmen Oling, share with you the tools, conversations, and resources you need to write your own permission slip, take massive action, and become obsessed with your own life. Let's get started. And so I asked myself, what is the one thing that I can do today in this moment that not only keeps me feeling good and aligned with my highest self, but it also moves me just a little bit closer to reaching my dreams and goals? And then I fucking did it. Because here's the thing. You can't do the big things if you're distracted by the little things. And you can always find a distraction if you're looking for one. Welcome back to the Permission Slip podcast. We are finishing our series on focus. So if you haven't listened to the first two episodes, so that'd be episode 72 and 73, I highly encourage you to go back and to listen to those, even when you're done with this one. So there are so many juicy tidbits that I have been dropping. And one of the reasons I'm so excited for this episode today is, guess what happened when I went to sit down to record this episode? I was so fucking distracted. So I'm getting ready. We're actually getting ready to leave for Tulum. And so I'm just super excited. This has been a dream that we've been manifesting for a couple of years now. And we had this trip planned last year and my passport renewal didn't end up coming back. And so we ended up coming to Miami Beach last year for our trip in lieu of Tulum. That's how we ended up moving here. If you don't know that story, yeah, it was a full circle moment in that, coming and living in here in Miami Beach. But anyway, so we're going to Tulum and I just feel very distracted. I've been so planned and organized, and I'm working on hiring more team members for my brand, and my brain was just like all over the place. So I thought it would be fun to share with you at the beginning of this episode, which at the end, there's some juicy tidbits on how you can be less distracted by the people in your life. And I know we all get that every now and then, but I wanted to tell you what I did to get on this mic, sit down, and start recording this podcast for you. And so you can see like a real life example of how this works. Okay, so here's what I did. The first thing is I asked myself, what is distracting me? Because we can't make a change if we don't know exactly what's going on. And so I got really specific. And so here is my specific list. That's almost a tongue twister. Specific. You can't say it fast 3 times. Anyway, so my trip was distracting me because I was thinking about it. I'm so excited for it. Laundry was distracting me. Both the washer and dryer is going, and we like to clean all the bedding and do all the laundry and the towels and clean up the house before we leave. And so when we come back, everything's clean and tidy and organized, and we can just put our things away right away and jump back right into what we need to do in life. And it's not like disheveled or unorganized, and it feels good. So we're working on laundry. And then I'm also distracted by, oh my gosh. Okay. So on January 22nd, so just like in about a week, we are releasing the VIP tickets for the Permission Slip retreat in June in Miami Beach. And oh my gosh, we have planned and curated the most beautiful, amazing, transformational experience ever. And I am just like so excited. I keep going over all the details and it's like, I've already done this. What the heck? But I'm so excited for it. If you are interested in coming to that, by the way, click in the show notes or just go to my website, carmenoline.com, and click on the events tab, carmenoline.com, permission slip retreat, and put in your information. So when the tickets are released, because seriously, there's only going to be 10 tickets total, and they will sell out within a week. So if you want to know about this and be the first to know and have access to an exclusive discount, then I want you to go over there, give me your email address so you can get on that list and be the first to know. So anyway, I'm distracted by that, going back to what specifically. So the trip to Tulum, the laundry, getting the house straightened up, the retreat, and the wind outside. Yeah, the wind is actually like really like heavy today, and you can hear it. I can hear it inside. So on one wall of our condos, we have just like full windows, which is so beautiful and amazing, and we just love it. But you can hear a lot of things. And so, yeah, the wind outside is distracting me. So I sat there and I said, okay, if these are the things that are distracting me, what do I need to do to focus back in and to not be distracted? Okay, so I thought about the trip. I still do need to pack, but I told myself, like, there's plenty of time to do that. I have so much time this afternoon to have fun with it, organize my bag, make it all like roll things up. You know, when you roll things in your bag and like things fit better. And then when you get there, you can put things away in the drawer. Do you do that? Whenever I stay at a hotel or anything, I always put all my things away and organize like I'm at home. Joel, on the other hand, the hub's like, he does the opposite. He still lives out of the suitcase. He's like, I need to like stay ready. Anyway, shoot me a DM. Let me know. Are you live out of the suitcase or put everything away like home type person? At Carmen Olaine on Instagram. So I have plenty of time to do that. So I'm letting go of that. It's going to come. We're going to fly out. It's going to be exciting. We're going to be there for a week. So letting go of that, the laundry, I was just like, fuck it. I'm just going to stop doing it while I sit down and record this. There's plenty of time to get it done. We're often so worried like there's not going to be enough time, but there is enough time. And there's always an opportunity for us to delegate or ask for help as well. And then the retreat, again, like the excitement and the joy that I feel inside of this experience that we're creating is so big. So it's hard to stop it, but just reminding myself that we've beautifully curated and planned all of the details, and just waiting to hit send on that email on the 22nd, which, did you know January 22nd is like National like Celebrating Life Day? How cool is that? I know, I didn't even plan that. So like we get to celebrate life and sell out the tickets at the same time. Cool. And then the wind outside. So why am I just not ignoring it? Like, just ignore it, sit the ass in the chair and start recording the podcast. And so I went through all my distractions and I minimized and I want to take that back. Not minimized, but I actually got rid of them. And then I asked myself this one question, just to make sure that I'm super focused and I'm focused on the right things. Because sometimes we'll focus on things that are just like busy work and it's not actually the right things that's going to move the needle. So I asked myself, what is the one thing that I can do today in this moment that not only keeps me feeling good, but keeps me aligned with my highest self, and it gets me closer to reaching my dreams and goals? And that was recording this podcast. I love this podcast. I love sharing this information with you. I love recording short podcasts that you can listen to and digest and just take a small nugget of information and implement it into your life. And slowly over time, when you do this, shit changes, right? Yeah, if you've been doing that, if you've been a fan of the podcast and a loyal listener, like, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. If you're new to us, welcome. But that's what this podcast is all about. So here I am. I sat my ass in the chair. I updated my outline with this new information that I wanted to share with you. And I just got started on it. Because here's the deal is you can't do the big things if you get distracted by the little things. And you can always find a distraction if you're looking for one. How many times in your life are you looking for a distraction? versus focusing in on that one thing that is really going to get you closer to your dreams and goals? What if each day you woke up and you asked yourself that question? What is the one thing that I can do today that feels good and is aligned with my highest self, and it'll get me closer to my dreams and goals? And then you did it to completion. What if you did that every single fucking day? Shit changes. I can tell you, I'm a testament to that, because oftentimes I do put one thing on my schedule to do for the day and I complete it and I get so much done. I know you're thinking, Carmen, oh my gosh, I do like 20 things in a day. Yeah, but are they the right things? Do you feel good while you're doing them? Are you aligned with your highest self? Are they getting you closer to your dreams and goals? Okay, so that I'm going to get off my soapbox on that and planning your schedule and the one thing. There is a book, Gary Keller, I think, is the author, and it's called The One Thing. If you want to know more about that, you can get that book anywhere books are sold, I'm sure on Amazon. So I did promise that I wanted to talk to you today about relationships and the people in our lives and what can we do about, because right, they can be like so damn distracting to us. But I want you to switch your thinking on that. Because while oftentimes we're in a victim mentality and we're putting it back on the people that are in our lives, that, oh my gosh, I need to show up and I need to go to this party, or my husband or my kids are being so distracting, or you feel obligated in some way to do something for your family or a friend. But here's the deal is it's not that these people in your lives are breaking a boundary that you've set. It's that you're allowing them to, and you teach people how to treat you. So I have 4 steps, 4 things that I want you to think about and consider in your life to really change the game on no longer being distracted by the people that you love in your life. So the first one, and I kind of hit on it already, is to set boundaries and to ask for help. When you set boundaries, I want you to focus on doing it from a place of love, sharing the why it's important to you. And when you ask for help or delegate, I want you to really focus on being specific and asking for help early and often. And then here's the caveat to this when you ask for help. So let's say there's a task that you always do at your house and you're asking your significant other to do it for you. Let's say like loading the dishwasher. So say you're always in charge of the dishes, but you don't have time. And then they go and you ask them to help you and they load it. And then you go in to put a dish in the dishwasher and you notice that it's loaded incorrectly based on your perception. What do? Do you redo it? Or do you just allow it to be? So way back when I was the controller of all the things, and so I would have redid the whole freaking thing. But here's the deal is if you're allowing people to help you and you're delegating, allow them to do it their way, allow them to learn. If there is a specific way that you want it done, share that with them. And something that I like to do is communicate very clearly. So this is the next thing. Many of us are working from home right now, and I know that ups the level of distraction on our families that are at home. And so something I encourage you to do is to start a nighttime routine with your significant other around your schedule for the day, the next day, and who's taking care of what responsibilities, what boundaries you need to have, when do you need to have space. So for example, today, Joel and I sat last night and we talked about, okay, what do you have planned for the day today? And what do I have planned for the day today? And what is that going to look like? Because I know when I record my podcast, I really need to have a quiet space. Nothing is on. In our condo, we have a 1-bedroom condo. And so usually I record when he's gone. And luckily, he was doing a couple of massages today. He's a massage therapist and the absolute best ever. So if you ever have an opportunity to have a massage by him, you can check him out on Instagram at Joel Traynor, JoalTraynor. But he was doing a massage at 11. And so I thought, well, that'll be perfect. We got up and we both went to the gym and we planned to do some movement. So we did that at 9 and then we both got ready. He went off to do his massage and then I was available to do my podcast. But the thing is if you don't talk about it and who's going to do what and what you need, your significant other is not a fucking mind reader and they don't know. So oftentimes I'll say things like, okay, tomorrow, like if it's a coaching call week, when I work with my private clients, we do calls every other week. And I do those calls on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, every other week, very specific. So I can give 110% that's of myself to that coaching and to my clients. And that's all I do on those days. So on those days, if for some reason Joel's home, I'll let him know the times that I have calls and the times I'm not going to be available because he knows I also prep for about 30 minutes prior to each call. Or if I'm doing blocks of work. So maybe it's my creative week when it's not my coaching week. And so I'll let him know, well, I'm going to do my focused work for an hour and a half from this time to this time. And then again, this time to this time. So he knows I'm not available during those times and he doesn't interrupt me. And I'll always go and like give him a kiss and say, okay, I'm going to do my hour and a half of focused work now. And so he just does his own thing. But the thing is oftentimes we're not clearly communicating. And we're not asking early and often for what we need. It gets down to where we're so stressed out that we haven't asked for what we need. And then when we ask in a way that's almost like an order. And it's not from a place of love. And it doesn't feel good. And so the other person receiving the information is like, oh, this just is not good. But if you ask early and often and set these boundaries up and clearly communicate and set up a way to set it up in advance, like it works so wonderfully. So start your nighttime routine with your significant other about the next day. And this could be even like who's going to take the kids or pick them up or do the errands, like all sorts of things you could talk about in order to make sure like it's just not on your shoulders. Because as women, oftentimes we think we're going to do our career, we're going to take care of ourselves, we're going to take care of the kids, the household, the grocery shopping, the finances, all of the things. And that's just so fucking unrealistic. And guess what? Our significant other wants to help us. And I know I'm talking about significant others often instead of friends, family, that sort of thing. We'll get a little bit more to friends and family in the next one here. Okay, so here we go. Number 3 is I want you to know that it's okay to have different seasons of your life where you're working or not available as often, right? So when you have something big that's upcoming. So for example, in June, when we have the permission slip retreat upcoming, that would be a time when I would do something like this. I would share beforehand, hey, I have a big retreat upcoming. So I just want to let you know, you probably won't hear from me as much, not as many text messages or phone calls. I won't be available to travel. But once we're done, I intentionally set something up to make sure I do the phone call. I set the messages. I set a trip to plan it, to spend intentional time with my friends and family members. But here's why I do that is because I found in the past, when I first started my business, I would be so busy. I just wouldn't be reaching out to anyone. And I want to make sure that the people that are most important to me, that they know that they feel loved, and I am intentionally showing up and doing my part of the relationship. But sometimes there's seasons of our lives where we're just not that available. And how good would that feel to you if one of your friends or family members say, hey, for the next month or so, I just want to let you know that I have this big thing that's really important to me going on, and I'm not going to be as available. But once I'm done, let's definitely get together. Let's have that conversation. You feel really honored, right? Wow, they took the time to tell me that. And guess what? You probably will get a lot more support for that big thing that you're doing because they'll be like, wow, that's so cool. I feel really honored. How can I support you? So that's number 3. There's seasons of life, but make sure, again, communicate early and often. And then the last thing, and this is one of the most important life lessons that you can learn. I actually did a whole podcast on this. I don't recall the episode, but I want you to know that nothing has meaning until you place meaning upon it. So let me give you an example. I work from home, right? And so let's say I'm working from home and I'm finishing up on my last hour of my focused work block, and Joel gets home and he's maybe not as talkative. I go to give him a kiss and he's kind of rushed or whatever, and he like just goes right into the bathroom. And so then I think to myself, oh geez, it's kind of going to be one of those evenings. Something must be up, something must be bothering him. And so I start placing meaning upon it. And guess what? In the relationships that you're closest with, what normally happens is that's going to change your energy as well. That's going to change your demeanor. So the other person is now going to get a negative, lower vibe energy from you. So they're going to start placing meaning on something as well. And the whole day, the whole evening can start going downhill based on the meaning that we're placing on something that probably is not even there. Because what realistically happened when Joel got home, he noticed I was working. So he was honoring not to bother me. And he went right in the bathroom because he had to take a shit. And then he came out and then he was doing something else because he didn't want to bother me. It's not that he was in a bad mood or he didn't love me or he didn't want to be with me, but he then noticed that I was low vibe energy. And so then he felt distracted from me, or distracted wasn't the word I wanted to use, like disassociated from me. But do you see how that all started with me just placing a meaning on something? And realistically, he was just being healthy, taking a poop, and honoring my request and my boundary of not bothering me while I'm doing my focused work. So nothing has meaning until you place meaning upon it. And so a question you can ask yourself, if you are projecting onto other people and they haven't actually said, I'm having a bad day, I'm in a bad mood, I'm upset with you, blah, 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 all the things that we think about, right? Or judgment, is what meaning am I placing on this? And you can really check yourself, and this works. So I want you to definitely try that. Okay, so that is it. We are wrapping up our series on focus. And again, this is the absolute one thing that you can do to be happier, healthier, and way more successful in your life, way less stressed, way overwhelmed, because you'll actually be getting shit done. And it's the things that matter. It's not just busy work. I want to wrap up by sharing this quote from Warren Buffett. I love this. The most dangerous distractions are the ones you love, but they don't love you back. The most dangerous distractions are the ones that you love, but they don't love you back. So oftentimes we have built-in mechanisms and habits and things that we do that we're not even really self-aware or we're not focused on. So I want you to think about that as you continue your transformation from being so distracted to being focused. And think about, what are those things that aren't loving you back? Like maybe it's drinking alcohol. Maybe it's eating shitty food. Maybe it's a relationship that it's time to separate yourself from. There's so many distractions in life. Everyone is trying to get our attention. So I just want to remind you that go over to my website, hit up the show notes, click the link to be the first to know for the tickets and have access to an exclusive discount off the VIP ticket, January 22nd for the permission slip retreat. So give me your email address so I can send you the information. And if you haven't already, go listen to episode 72 and 73. And in episode 73, I talked about how to create a vision for your highest self. And I have a free worksheet to download because that's really important to be able to be clear on who it is and what you want in your life. And so download that. And, guess what? I will talk to you next week because we are freaking off to Tulum. I want to know, does anybody have you gone to Tulum before? Do you want to hear a Tulum recap and a review? Would that be cool on the pod? That might be something fun, a little bit lighter than most of the podcasts. DM me if you want to hear about that. And just know, from my heart to yours, I am so grateful for you listening. Share this episode with a friend, text it to them, share it on your Instagram stories, because I know it can make a difference in someone's life. And until next week, when we get back from Tulum, have a beautiful, wonderful, focused week. And so you'll be feeling good, high vibe, aligned with your highest self, focused, getting shit done, getting so much closer to those dreams and goals without being stressed. Bye.